Greetings, survivors and friends. Shadowfrax here with your weekly Rust update, keeping you regular and flowing freely with information. Yeah. Oh, and avert thine eyes if flashy lights might give you a seizure, but feel free to watch the whole thing if they please you. And yes, I've got a cold at the moment, which is why I sound like this. Enjoy it. I'm certainly not. So, the big news this week is that on the staging branch, a very early work-in-progress version of the SAM site turret has gone live, and if you're an admin and want to try it out, you can do so with Spawn SAM site in console. Just remember, you have to be on a staging branch server and have admin rights to do it. Currently, it'll take offense to any balloons that come within range and will fire a relentless volley of hot, feisty death in their direction. At the moment, it doesn't like Chinooks either, but this will change, as it is only supposed to be for deterring balloonists, and eventually won't be of any use against non-player flying objects. As I say, it is very early days and still being tweaked and prodded by Helk, but there are some things we do kind of know at the moment. You'll be able to buy them. Not sure whether that'll be at the bandit camp or the compound yet. They might also be craftable, but that hasn't been decided. They'll only shoot at balloons that are higher than they are, and they'll also require a new ammo type or types. A lot of the details are still up in the air at the moment, and what I've said could still change, but the team are aiming squarely at getting them in the basket, along with balloons, for next week's Forced Wipe on the 1st of November, if they can. So stay tuned and I'll keep you informed of changes when they happen. Talking of balloons, there have been a couple of enhancements added to them, and as well as the windsock, there are now little flags strategically placed around the basket to keep you in the know as to the airflow when the wind blows. Also, when on the ground and not in use, the balloon will deflate and flop over instead of defying gravity and standing to attention like a hot air balloon that's being used. When the heat is on though, it will magically inflate and it'll be business time as usual. This all helps with immersion, and we all know how important that is, don't we? New boat, who dis? Well, it's not a new boat, it's an old boat that's new. It's the rowboat with a sexy new model that slots into the Rusty Harbour much better than the old Unity Store one. Did I just say slot into the Rusty Harbour? That's probably not the best metaphor I've come up with today. Anyway, this is how it's going to look from now on, unless we're ever able to apply skins to it. And it's also still called the SS Helk, although I think SS usually stands for steamship, so technically it should be the LGS Helk, I suppose. A low-grade fueled rowboat that doesn't have any oars. Oh, Rust, why are you so full of contradictions? In the dim and distant past, a couple of months ago or so now, if you can remember back that far, I spoke at length about imposters. Filthy little things. Anyway, imposters are basically low-polygon 2D billboards of 3D objects such as trees, which can take their place in the distance and greatly reduce the amount of system resources needed to render them. We have these for all the trees at the moment, but work is being done right now to add yet more optimizations to these on a separate branch, and so we could see some decent performance enhancements for lower-end potatoes sometime soon. Apart from this, there were some fixes to scarecrows. For instance, they'll now properly re-equip sickles after throwing a bean can, and if you really don't like the new strobe for whatever reason, then you can turn it off in the console with strobelight.forceoff1. Oh, shame. Takes all the fun out of it. Thanks for watching this episode. Don't forget, next week is the Forced Wipe, so we could see some interesting stuff shoehorned in. Stay tuned for my full breakdown when that happens. Come and join me on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Discord, and my Steam group, why don't you? And I shall catch you all soon. In the meantime, keep calm and stay rusty. Cheerio!